What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our PGA DFS sleeper show for the 2021 Valspar Championship. Before we do that, let's look back at the team event in Zurich, the Zurich Classic in New Orleans, which was kind of a bloodbath for our sleepers. Not our best showing. I think our worst showing ever, but because this is a team event, we won only 4 picks. They all missed the cut. That's the first time that's ever happened. You can see the reasons why. We're not going to harp on it. It hurt my lineups. It hurt Craig's lineups, I'm sure. I'm sure it hurt some of yours. So move on, address it, move on.
Yeah, I mean, we did mention how last week was tough to try to figure out, just with, first off teams, but then second off, in my case, a lack of a model and all the analytics that I like to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we did have a good comment, I think.
Yeah, one positive note, William Neal, he called out Peter Uihlein as his top sleeper team. I think they got solo third, so absolutely the best sleeper team. So that was a great shout out in the comments from William Neal. So make sure to let us know your favorite sleeper for the Valspar. 7,500 and below is what we do on DraftKings. Name your sleeper below. We'll give you a shout out in the next video.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have a pick better than us, just like this past week, just like William Neal did.
Exactly. But we got our stats back. We're in a stroke play event. Craig, I feel good about this. Should we jump into it? Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's talk about some sleepers. My first one here is Sam Horsfield, 7,400 on DraftKings. He's 38th on FanDuel. He's 9,038th as well. Kind of right at the top kind of limit there on DraftKings, but I like him. So there's scary good and then there's scary. That's my story with Sam here. So his last 4 starts are scary good. He's 4th, 15th, 3rd, and 8th. Those are his results on the European Tour. He ranks 6th in the European Tour in strokes gained total at plus 2.65. The strokes gained data can be a little bit iffy, so take that with a grain of salt, but his stroke average is still number 2 on the European Tour for the year. He's playing fantastic right now. But the scary part, I talked about it on our pick show. I'm looking at accuracy, and his driving accuracy is horrendous. He ranks 158th on the European Tour at 38% hitting fairways. I don't know what to do with that. I feel like his talent kind of surpasses that, and I'm going to play him anyways, but that's definitely scary. It's definitely a red flag for me. So he's playing the European Tour for a while. This is his first PGA Tour start since the 2019 Arnold Palmer Invitational. He plays under the England flag. He's born in Manchester, England. He did grow up in Florida, though. I think just about an hour and a half east of here in Florida. He was a star at the University of Florida. I did talk about him as my most interesting man in the field in our tournament preview and first look. So you can go look there why I kind of really liked him. But I think he's a very interesting guy, an up-and-comer, a talent. At 7,400, I feel like if people don't play the European Tour or don't follow the European Tour, he might get overlooked, but the talent is definitely there.
Yeah, I do think probably more a high-risk, high-reward play this week. He probably has more top 10 potential than a lot of the other guys we're going to be talking about here, but I'd also say he's got a higher missed cut potential. The 38% in driving accuracy, that doesn't scare me that much. Like, obviously, his results were good, so it might just have been courses where the fairways, like they were at a resort course last week that is not suited to these guys that hit the length they do. So it might have been a bomb and gouge course, in which case, being close to the green in the rough was a lot better than hitting an iron to the middle of the fairway.
It doesn't really matter. But like you said, risk reward, I'm going to definitely have kind of an exhale if he makes the cut. He's going to be one of the ones I'm stressing, maybe even more so than some 6K guys of like, okay, just get to the weekend, just get there, and then we can start scoring.
Yeah, okay, mine. I'm going. Here's a safer option for you around the same place. 7,400, 38th on DraftKings, 7,500, 94th on FanDuel. So if you have money on FanDuel and you want a ridiculous value, go check out Lanto Griffin, because it's crazy.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. You mentioned Brian Harman, I think happened 4-6 months ago or so. Kind of same thing where he just was forgot about him.
And Brian Harman was minimum priced at the time. Lanto Griffin's not quite that bad, which it's just I don't understand how he's priced.
If I'm putting in one lineup on FanDuel, I'm plugging them in as a free square, and you're
using that value,
yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's not clear why there's value already, here's why. Strokes gained total, 3 months 6 months, 28th, 29th in the field, 12 months, 31st still, so a year long, then 2 years. So he's above 0.7 in all of these. So 23rd, 0.7 over the last 2 years. I just don't quite get why we're ranking him so low. I think it might be because he hasn't had as many high finishes. He's one of these guys that does a lot of good but not great. But you look at recently, last 7 starts, he's got a single missed cut. That was at the Masters. He missed the cut in the fall at the Masters as well. I don't think he has a good handle on that course yet. But other than that, he's played fairly well. 6 top 35s in his other 6 of those 7 starts. Yeah. 4 top 26s. So a lot of the time, if you think about his 6 non-Masters recent starts, 4 out of 6, he's getting into the top 26. Best finish, however, is only 7th at the Farmers. So would like to see him getting a little bit more frequently up into the very, very top of the field. Sure. But if you're just getting value of him, that's fine. You fill out your lineup elsewhere. You get Lanto Griffin at 7,400 and you're getting sweet value on it. Yeah. Last thing, ball striking is in very good form. So you look at the last 3 months, he is gaining, this is combined strokes gain off the tee and approach. He's plus 1.23, which is 8th in this field. So, that's one of the things we talk about. It has the least variability in terms of, round to round,
week in,
week out. So if there's one thing you want to be coming to the weekend with, it's good ball striking. And he has that right now.
For sure. Yeah, I think it just kind of just brought up a painful memory because I think he was one of my sleepers at the Masters and he did miss the cut there. And I was like, well,
look how good his form is.
Yeah, look how good his form is. It's still a guy. Whenever he kind of gets priced down, it seems like an obvious kind of play. A safer play, like you said, but I think there's still upside there.
Yeah. Well, I do too. That's why a sleeper pick.
But FanDuel, man, I don't care if he's 80% owned on FanDuel. I'm still playing him. Like, it's crazy. Okay, my second pick here. I'm going Patton Kizzire. 7,200 on DraftKings. He's 46th there. On FanDuel, about the same. 8,700, 47th. So it's 2021. Going back all 9 events he's played in 2021, he has 2 top 10s. That was a T9 recently at the Valero Texas Open. And then back at the start, it was a T7 at the Sony Open in Hawaii. He does have 2 missed cuts as well, but in this price range, that's kind of to be expected. He has played at the tournament 3 times. He's made the cut twice and has a very middling 0.1 strokes gained total average. But here's why I think he's value. I think he's playing really, really strong as of late. If you're going to go, from data golf, which we like to look at, you can look at the past, 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, as you kind of said with Griffin there. He seems to be getting better as you kind of get closer to, and I feel like he's playing really well. So he ranks 22nd in strokes gained total, plus 1.02 in the past 6 months. He's ranked 46th and 47th. 22nd, I feel like, is screaming value. Or, where he's playing is really good for where he is priced. And with that, we kind of, great putter. Can his approach game, can that kind of come around to you get a really good finish here? His strokes gained approach, if again, you look at our Grandstand Golf DFS model, links are below. You can see kind of the tournament results. It has been really improving, It's light green and it's getting a little bit darker, and dark green for the Valero Texas when he hit a top 10. So it's kind of really getting incrementally better as he goes along the past kind of 3-4 months or so. So I feel like that's a really good sign. The things that he's good at has always been there, but his strokes gained approach is kind of getting better. And right now, I just feel like it's a little bit underpriced for the Patton Kizzire. When all things are clicking, he can be really, really good.
Yeah, I think I've had a hard time figuring out Patton Kizzire, but I've just sort of decided to roll with it a little bit because he sort of feels, and I know that they don't appear that way, but he sort of feels a little bit like a Kevin Na to me, where you're kind of like, I don't understand how he can show up and putt this well every week, or like how he kind of continues to get it done, and it seems unsustainable. But at some point, you just kind of have to give it up that not everyone takes the same path to being good at golf, and whatever he is doing is working for him.
Yeah, so everything over the past 6 months, everything in his strokes gained is positive, except for strokes gained approach, which is minus 0.01. So it's barely
and
negative.
Do you have that
everything
in front
else,
of you? What's his putting?
0.43, but I think it's even better if I can go the past 3 months. He is looking quickly. I know this is making great TV right now, but now I can't find it.
That's okay. Come back to it.
0.24.
Okay.
So I guess it wasn't better in the past 3 months, but still a very good putter.
For sure. Okay, my next one here, I am going Tom Hoge. 7,000 on DraftKings, 56 in pricing, 8,400 on FanDuel, 59th in pricing. This is just a value squeeze for me. I think he has shown better form of recent, and again, I think he could be priced a little bit higher. He compared with Lanto, maybe a bit more miscut potential with Tom Hoge, but so you look at 3 months, he's 33rd in strokes gained total with 0.74. Even you look at his worst is 12 months. So the past year, he's gaining 0.37. Yeah. He's still 48th in the field, and we're getting him at 56 in pricing. 2 years, 40.46. He's 41st. So it starts to rebound a bit when you look at his even longer term form. So I like the short term form. I like the long term form. I just think that he's a little bit underpriced here. So keep squeezing value everywhere you can. That's what I'm going to do. Poor course history here. He's missed cuts in 2016, 2018, and 2019. I don't put too much weight on that, but if that's the kind of thing that you really like to look at, then maybe not your guy. I just want to put that out there so you go in eyes open. What I'm more interested in is what is his form like of recent? How is he coming in? You look at his 3 of the last 4 starts, he's been in the top 25, and he was 12th at the Valero Texas Open, despite losing 0.6 strokes around putting.
Wow.
Tom Hoge, both in the 2021 season and the 2020 season, is a positive strokes gained putter guy. So to be top 12 while losing that means the rest of his game was in pretty darn good shape. So I think his game is in good shape right now. Makes a few more putts. A top 10, I think, is a very reasonable upside for Tom Hoge this week.
Yeah, interesting. I think I like the term squeezing value. I don't know where you came up with that, but I like it. I'm going to use it. The missed cuts, before I kind of just add him to my player pool, I'm going to do a little bit deeper dive, to be missed by a lot. Was it sprained tee shots? Was it bad putting? Like what?
I think the other thing I like to especially look at when I'm doing that is like, what was his form coming into that week? Oh, so he wasn't in good form, and he is this time. So I should have different expectations. Was he in good form and he still missed? Okay, maybe there starts to be something about this course that he doesn't like.
Remember, the last time they played this course, I would have to look exactly, but Justin Rose might be number 1 in the world. Mm-hmm. Like a lot can happen in the golf world in 2 years. And we haven't been here since 2019, right? So, okay, my third and final sleeper here, Craig. I'm dipping into the 6Ks. This is a little bit of a dart throw, I would say, but Jamie Lovemark is my third sleeper here. 6,400 on DraftKings. He's 99th there. I think that's a really good value. FanDuel, he's 7,900. He's 78th. He's more expensive than Lanto, as you would expect. But he's coming off a second place. His most recent tournament was a second place finish on the Korn Ferry Tour at the MGM Resorts Championship. Peter Uihlein won that and then went to go third at the Zurich Classic. I hope Jamie Lovemark can kind of parlay that good finish as well into a made cut here at the Valspar. So, if you've been playing DFS golf for a while, Jamie Lovemark. He had a pretty good season, I feel like 18, 19, that kind of area. Has been on the major medical extension for a while. He only has 4 starts left, and he has a ton of points to make up. So he has to start getting points. I feel like that can either be great pressure, or maybe that's a sign that he's picking and choosing events and going to pick a place where he feels like he can have success at after kind of a little bit of a warm-up, the Appalachian State, Michigan type game, warm up on the Korn Ferry Tour, get things right a little bit, and then come play the PGA and try to get your FedEx Cup points. But he does have 5 starts here at Copperhead, 2011 to 2018. He's made 4 of 5 made cuts. He has improved his finish every single year. I think his last one was a top 20. But over those kind of 5 starts, he has 0.77 strokes gained total average. That is fairly good for a guy at $6,400. Coming off a second place finish, if things can click, if you can find fairways, his driving accuracy, limited data, but his driving accuracy looks horrible. If you can find some fairways, make some putts, make the weekend, we might see some good things with Jamie Lovemark.
Yeah, I just had to try to look up, I don't really have a take on Jamie Lovemark. I was just trying to look up real quick. I do think that I mean, you have to think, yes, he is coming off his second on the Corn Ferry, but I mean, it's going to be a low ownership play. So if you are looking at chalky plays, I don't know, I've spoken on our other videos. I'm going to have a smaller player pool. So I think a guy like him is going to be harder for me to get in, even at a small exposure, just with the approach I'm going to take. But I haven't done my deep dive on Jamie Lovemark yet.
Well, I feel like when he was playing his best is also when you're nose deep in textbooks there. So I think that's kind of your,
So you're giving me a pass.
That's a pass.
You're giving me a pass.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay, last one here. Chase Seiffert. I really struggle with pronouncing his name, but I think I got it. 6,600 on DraftKings. He's 82nd. 7,700 on FanDuel. He's 86th. This is just, again, another value play I like. This one's a little bit cheaper even than Tom Hoge. Strokes gained total. You look at it, he is better value of recent than in the long term. So you look at 3 months, he's gaining a half stroke. He's 48th in the field. It slowly falls away down until you're at 2 years. He's losing 0.06 again. So you're talking about losing to the average PGA Tour player. So it's not that like he's a garbage human being. It's that like, the average professional golfers in the world, he's slightly below them, So that's still 87th in the field. So you look at that long-term farm, I think he's priced about right based on that. But then if you think recently, he's playing very well. So his last 8 starts, what's reflected in those strokes gained total numbers. He's got a single missed cut. So we're talking 7 of 8 cuts made, 4 top 20s. So half the time we're getting really good value, I think, of a 6,600 player. And the best finishes are tied for 3rd at the Honda Classic. Tried to do a little bit of a dive into, what is he doing of recent that he's doing well. So, some tournaments he was driving it. His accuracy was really good with the driver. He's not a huge distance guy, so that was never really it. But the thing that stood out to be the most consistently, these are his last 5 starts. Greens and regulation. This is in the field of the tournament he was in. He was 5th, 6th, fell to 36th, but then 13th and 37th. So, even 36th and 37th. We're talking in a field of 140 people. That's pretty darn good. Yeah. So if he can, maybe he has a different approach he's taking. Maybe his ball striking is just very good, and he's got good control right now, hitting greens in regulation and 2-putting for par, making the occasional birdie. I'll take that. So if he can come out there and hit a lot of greens in regulation at 6,600 and make a cut, maybe work your way into the top 20, I love it.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. We've talked about it being kind of not a birdie fest, a higher winning score than we've seen at other tournaments recently. A good way to kind of do that is hitting greens and, like you said, 2-putting. Like that's a good way to kind of just have a 1, 2, 3 under round.
It's not flashy, maybe, but
you're not Jordan Spieth and you're not chipping in and doing crazy things, but you can make weekends doing that, and that's what you need at 6,600 for sure. Yeah, I think he's a guy that will of the 6As, I think he's a guy that's going to make my player pool, but I feel like in the 6As there's not many guys that get above 5% ownership. He could be one of them, I think.
I think that's fair.
Just recent success. Thank you for watching our live show Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's when we do a deep dive, go into our other sleepers that kind of made our player pool, talk about our strategies for the week. Make sure to join us then. Subscribe to our channel, hit that thumbs up, ring the bell so you know when that video does come out. Other thing, make sure you call your shot. Favorite sleeper under 7,500 on DraftKings. As we talked about, leave them in the comments below.
Yep. As always, guys, we appreciate having you, and good luck this week.
Yeah, see you guys. Good luck.